Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Friday, May 2nd. So, what are we talking about today? Well, what I thought we'd talk about today, and that's Jason brought it up, and it's a great point. And I think we need to dive farther in it. We get to choose how we run our shops. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekday. Yes, you made it till Friday, right? It's Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, May 2nd of 2025. So what are we talking about today? What do I mean by Jason's right? I didn't say Jason's right. It's not how Jason runs his shop. But he is right. We get to choose how we run our shop, okay? If you allow the customer to dictate how you run your shop, then you're going to be in turmoil all the time. I'm not saying that the customer shouldn't be taken into consideration, but you need to figure out the best way to run your shop. If you're running your shop the way you want to and you don't have any customers, I would probably tell you to rethink it some, or try to do something different to get customers. But if you got tons of customers and you're not making any money and you're not making a living, are you doing it right that way as well? See, it's two different extremes. No customers, two customers, up the yin yang. Neither one of them are making money. And I'm not saying about making big money. I'm saying about making a living. Because good chances are, if you're in this business, even automotive, if you're in this business, you are not looking to become independently wealthy. If you are, I hate to pop your bubble. It's not going to happen. Can you secure and make a decent living? Yes. But it all depends upon so many different things. And I think the biggest, you got to have skill, right? And don't do a bunch of do-overs. But if you're just starting out, you're going to do some do-overs. And you're going to want to try to limit of how many do-overs you do, because every do-over costs money. It's a valuable lesson if you learn from it. But if you continue to keep doing it over and over and over again, it's a costly item on your year end, right? So how do we run the shop that's going to be best for us and best for our customers and best for everybody concerned? Because ideally, that's the way it has to be. It has to be a win-win for everybody. Everybody needs to walk away from the table feeling like they won something out of the deal. If not, why do the deal? Why take a chance? And a lot of times when I talk about doing the deal and winning, it isn't in dollars and cents. Customers are winning if they feel like they've been heard and you're helping them for a fair price and you're giving them a stress-free summer of mowing. That's worth something. That has value. Knowing that you did it right, everything they don't have to worry about, is the oil filter loose? Is there enough oil, even though they should be checking the oil every time they use it? But just the mere sense of knowing that it's going to have no problems throughout the summer. But then let's add a second layer to it. Knowing that you're there if they do have problems. If they have problems throughout the summer and it's something that you overlooked or didn't do right, that's a do-over. And what do I call a do-over in the shop? I call a do-over in the shop is if I tell you your machine is ready to go and I let it go because it's my stamp on that unit. my stamp, not anybody else's. It's my shop. My name is on that. No matter who's employed. If Claude screws up in the shop out there, it's not, the public is not going to blame Claude. They're going to blame the shop, me. And I don't let shit go downhill anyways. So it's going to stop with me. Are we going to have a conversation about not continually doing do-overs? Yes, because when I do a do-over, it's on me. And you're going to say, well, you can't, see everything and keep everything from happening. But if it's something that is recently been released out of the shop and there's no damage to the deck, there's no damage to the blades, and something took place, then it's on me, right? Because you have to develop something in your shop that says, okay, here is a front to back service. What is included in a front to back service? Is greasing the machine included? If not, it should be. If checking for wear and tear on all the parts is not included, it should be. So you got that hour. It doesn't take an hour to change the oil filter, fuel filter, spark plugs. It doesn't take an hour. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? And I always start with draining the oil because that takes the longest, right? And while that oil is draining, I put the dipstick on top of the engine. That signifies in our shop no oil in it. If the dipstick is sitting on the flywheel on top, don't start it because there's no oil in it. But while that oil is draining, there's other things that you can be doing. And that could be the fuel filter, could be spark plugs. But you're also going to want to check the wear and tear on the belts. You're also going to want to grease anything that has a grease fitting. You're also going to want to take and replace the grease fittings that you can't get to take grease. They do go bad and they do get plugged, and you need to throw them away and put new grease fittings on that do allow grease where they need to be greased. If it has a transmission, a hydrostatic transmission on the better machines that have a jug, make sure it's full. And if it looks murky, it's got water in it, drain it, put new in it, and make sure it's on the full line. If it needs a hydrostatic filter that goes on the back, change the filter out too at the same time. These are all things that you should be doing as a mechanic in the shop. And if you're not the mechanic and you're the owner, if there's two separate entities, you need to give it the once over before you allow it to go. To see if there's something that your mechanic missed. And this is no slight on the mechanic. It's the mechanic can't remember everything and be perfect all the time. That's where it's nice if you got two sets of eyes. And my tendency is, I don't know about you, but I talk out loud. When I'm going around a unit, like, Claude says I talk to myself. No, I'm talking out loud because I'm thinking out loud. If Claude and I are looking at a project that we need to figure out how to accomplish, I'll start talking out loud as a way to give ideas to Claude. And it's not because my idea is the best way. It's what way can we both come at this to get to the same end line? And that is a good machine leaving the shop, knowing that we did everything we could to give that customer a carefree summer. That's the goal. It's not to make $1 gazillion for the shop, because you're not going to make $1 gazillion for the shop. People constantly ask me, this is one of the things that I probably get asked the most. What is the best hourly rate to charge? The best hourly rate to charge is one that brings in customers, good customers. I've seen shops be too cheap. And then you get a lot of issues with customers that are just there for price and price alone. They're not looking for quality. They're just looking for you to piece it back together, and they don't want to pay nothing to have it done. So you can get too cheap on your hourly rate, but you can also get too high where nobody can afford to come, right? And you say, well, my time is worth something. Absolutely. I agree with you. My time is worth something too. But would I rather have 10 customers and make like $10 an hour above for the shop, or have no customers, or have 100 customers where I'm only making a couple dollars? I'll take the in between, where I'm making $10 to $15 per customer per hour, and I've got good customers. Because it's your choice of where you want to be. And I've had customers, to be totally honest with you, they think that since, because we have different price range. We have 55 for lawnmowers. We have 65 for UTVs and ATVs and all that. And we've got 65 for farm tractors. Unless it's the winter months and we give a special to our customers because that's a slow time, so we give a discount if you can let us have it for the winter to work on it at our leisure, right? But you get to choose how much you're going to charge. And it's going to be location, location, location. If you're in a lower income level group, your prices are going to reflect that. Whereas if you're in a affluent neighborhood, it's going to be higher. But your costs are going to be higher here than what it is here. And in the end, you're both going to still make the same amount of money, right? It's just here it costs so much more to live, so you have to charge that much more. And customers are used to paying that because they're getting paid a lot more than the customers over in this area. So it is location, location, location. Like real estate. You can have 100 acres, but it depends on where you have that 100 acres, right? If you have 100 acres in Manhattan, it's worth a hell of a lot more than 100 acres upstate. I'm just saying. Same thing with running a shop. Your hourly rate should be based on location. A lot of the shops that I know base their hourly rate based on what warranty pays, the max. And that could be 100 to 120. And I can remember when we first started doing the warranty work for these companies. It was after we were established that I went after the warranty. And they're like, well, how much is your hourly rate? And I tell them $45 an hour. And they're like, it can't be. Yeah. And I was billing them $45 an hour for warranty work. And I had one guy tell me, look, everybody else is at 120. Why are you at 40? Because that's what we charge average people. Why should I charge a warranty company any different than I do the average person coming in? Because I always base my business off from honesty. Shouldn't you? There's more to business than dollars and cents. Because I can tell you right now, you get to choose your lifestyle, right? And this is some of Eric's gift of knowledge. I've seen people that had tons of money, tons of material things, and feel hopeless. And I've seen people that had nothing, that were always outgoing because they could always find something to be grateful for. Their health, their family, church, their relationship with God. We get to choose how we want to live our life. And if I have to give the choice of, do I want to have a lot of friends and family, good customers, and make a living? Or do I want to be independently wealthy, no friends, and constantly looking for more and never feeling fulfilled, I'll take the one where I have a good sense of community, friends, family, and am I making it living high off the hog? No, but I'm not taking for granted what I already have. And that's so easily done. I mean, it happens so easily that we start to complain about not having enough when we don't even realize what we already have. We always keep feeling something is not there. We need to find something else. And that something else, until you find it, you're going to do a lot of struggling. For me, it's God. I'm not Bible, you can use an alien. I'm not Bible preaching, bumping, and all that other stuff. I feel that your relationship with God is on your time and your place, not mine. But that keeps me grounded. It does. No matter how bad things get, I still have a sense of I'm doing good as long as I have Him in my life. And most of you guys know with the surgery that I went through and all the complications and everything else, I still remain grateful for everything, because every complication I had met with people that really wanted to help me, that truly were there for the right reasons. Running your shop is the same way, being there for the right reasons and wanting to help your customers. I totally agree with Jason when it says your shop, you dictate policy. And that's why I brought it to your attention yesterday of different customers coming in and saying, well, don't do a service because my brother-in-law did that. We just want this done and this. And Claudia is, well, we're going to do exactly what the customer wants. No, we're not. When I hear that from customers, it's because they don't have a lot of money to spend. That the disposable is not there. So my line of logic has always been, when it comes to customer service, always give your customer more than what they expected, not less. With a gal that had the Murray that didn't want a service done, she just wanted us to check it over, the belts and all that. Got a new fuel filter. I left the old single spark plug in it because it looked good. It doesn't have an oil filter, but it was over full on oil and it had no smell of fuel in it. So I drained it down to the mark where it should be because the oil looked good. But I still give it that once over like I would if I was changing spark plugs, oil filters, and everything else. Because no matter what, my name is stamped on it. And I was surprised at the 2 sets of blades that I swapped out yesterday. That setting the blades side by side of how much the tips were gone. I mean, literally gone. I mean, an inch off from both ends. Enough so that when I put the blade on, it was hitting the buildup on the deck and wouldn't turn, right? And yes, we do scrape every deck before they leave the shop. But I had to scrape all of the grass, the old grass from last year and a little bit from this year, just to get the blades on because there wasn't enough clearance. They had built up so much, and the customer is telling us, yeah, it was kind of leaving a streak. Now, if you let that machine go and it's still leaving a streak, I'm telling you right now, you're not doing a very good job. And even if that customer tells you they can't afford a set of lawnmower blades, maybe it's time to step up if you possibly can financially. Put a friggin' set of blades on it for them if they're a good customer. And tell them, I'll get you the next time. they will remember that. They will tell everybody that interaction they had. Because if you give them what they expect, that's mediocre. If you give them a little more than what they expected, that's the way to run a shop. So on that note, you guys have a great Friday and a great weekend. No promises for the weekend. You know how it goes. I got an auction to go to tomorrow. So depending on how that goes and so forth. But just give that some thought. You know, you're the one that gets to choose how you run your own shop. And you need to choose the right path of where you have just enough customers to cover your bills, at least. And that comes from not overcharging or undercharging. You need to find that sweet spot in your community. On that note, you guys enjoy your Friday.